too small, I got big dreams.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pun Fun, where we have fun with the puns. My name is Ryan, and we're going to check out episode 1 and 2 of the Marvel series, What If? No, we're not. We're checking out the episode 1 and 2 of the Marvel series, Hawkeye. I don't know why that slipped out. I guess too many of those, not good for you. Now, I mean, the series was amazing, by the way. But anyways, if you have not yet seen episode 1 and 2 of the Marvel series, Hawkeye, please be sure to do so, as there are major spoiler alerts ahead. This being said, we're getting our source from the comic books. We're also checking it from the MCU. We're also going to check it out from some of the Netflix stuff. And I know what you're saying, villains, right away, Kingpin. Yes, down the funnel, I'm sure we are going to see the Kingpin, and I'll tell you exactly how he kind of ties in to the initial villains I want to mention now that has been, scattered and has been flurries throughout the first and second episode. So I'm going to focus on these characters first. The rest of them is more on speculation. We don't know if we're actually going to get them in the first season. Maybe it's going to be more something we see throughout the MCU itself. Anyways, that all being said, we're going to get into it, and we're also going to talk about a few contests we had going on and how to get entered, and anyways, at the very end. Anyways, let's get into it. First of all, we're going to talk about Jacques Quest. So Jacques Quest is a Marvel character, of course, who wanted to be an Avenger. So what's going to happen through this series, so for Hawkeye, we're going to see characters that have been a hero, that have maybe been a villain, and then vice versa. They may be a villain and then turn out to be a hero, just like Hawkeye himself. So being, Hawkeye obviously, but then becoming Ronin, which was kind of his more villainous type role, and then coming back into the role of Hawkeye and, redeeming himself. This is where his past is going to catch up to him for sure, but other characters are actually going to follow into his footsteps, and this is why it's important that we note that these villains I'm going to mention may end up actually being heroes at some point, or may actually not understand where they stand on that line. So, for example, Jacques, better known as the Swordsman, I'm pretty sure that's who he's going to be. I mean, he collects a bunch of swords. He's quite able to, however, for Kate, he doesn't expose himself by, downplaying it, which is fine. However, the Swordsman actually does want to be an Avenger, and he's been doing a bunch of tryouts and different ways to get in. He doesn't manage to do so. However, through the help of the Mandarin, so that's important to keep that in mind, he is actually able to convince there's a situation, and he, kind of gets closer to Mantis, and he actually at some point kind of becomes this like side, or if like a B-list Avenger, if you will. Then after that, he actually does have a heroic moment where he actually not kills himself, but sacrifices himself in front of Kang in order to save Mantis. So there is maybe a hope for him. Who knows? Maybe he might be part of the Thunderbolts later on, or he might actually be a recruit for the Avengers, or maybe just like a side team, if you will, just to help them out if ever there's something that goes on. But for now, yes, he is a villain, and he was a double agent for a long while. The Mandarin actually hired him and got him into that whole position just so he can actually spy and be an actual double agent. This being said, this could also be why he's actually looking for the Ronin, sword and outfit as well, to give back as a payment, maybe to the Mandarin, or maybe for himself to become the Ronin. So he can actually be an Avenger to show like, oh hey, I did all that, I can be a part of your team, I'm a great swordsman, blah blah blah. It's his ticket in, basically. So we're gonna see the development going forward. For now, the murder of Armano, may be him, may not be tied. It's still unclear, and I mean, this is still the first 2 episodes, which by the way was spectacular, which only gets better, especially with the Marvel series. After episode 3 and 4, they really kick it up a notch. So I can only imagine how incredible the series is actually going to be. And yeah, the actress and actors they got for Kate Bishop, and I guess Hawkeye as well. They're doing just an amazing job. Anyways, back to our Jacques. So Jacques, or Jack, if you will. I don't know why I went into French mode there, but yeah. So Jack basically. That's going to be his end game, if you will. He may, at the end, have to help them out, maybe to fight Echo. So Echo is another character that we see within, at the very end of episode 2, with that kind of red room, and we're not too sure what's going on. A lot of sign, she's like, oh, come here, whatever. Actually, Echo is a character who is deaf, so the reason we see Hawkeye kind of with the hearing aid, that may actually come and be handy for him later on, meaning that he may actually be able to talk to her via sign language, or understand sign language where she may not know that he's actually able to understand it. Anyways, that's going to come into play at some point or another What's important about Echo is that her ability, first of all, is to mimic and simulate any moves that she sees. So again, an echo. So you hear something, it's repeated or it's done again. And again, with the sonar part. So very cool name, and it makes sense for the ability to have that kind of name. I know she is going to have her own series in the Marvel Disney Plus series. So why is that important, and how is that going to be played out? Well, actually, Echo is a character that also has a duality. She was raised by the Kingpin only after the Kingpin actually killed her father, and then, became kind of like the story of Taskmaster, if you will, that they kind of did in Black Widow, where, kill the father, take on the kid, trainer. He's able to mimic or copy or, simulate, moves that they've seen before. In this case, it's, off a talent. So she sees it, she does it right away. There's no mechanism or whatever, or no robotics involved in this case. Anyways, that all being said, she actually becomes not a hero, but she actually helps the Avengers later on. And that's where she gets the name Echo. So again, these are characters that did go on the wrong path or started off on the wrong path. I mean, you were given and only shown the path of, what is bad and within the world of mafias, or with the world of Kingpin, and then later on find your own path and, self-discovery, and realize you can put these gifts for a better cause. So I think that's what the Marvel series, the Disney Plus series is going to be all about, basically. It's going to be about her now switching and coming about and, rediscovering herself, maybe even joining the Young Avengers, because that's actually what happens. Echo joins the Young Avengers at the very end. That all being said, we haven't seen Ilana Bellava, so she is, the Black Widow, or if you will, the blonde Black Widow, so her sister, basically. What we've seen in the Black Widow movies at the very end, she's been told that Clint Barton, who was shown as to be the Ronin, killed her sister, which she's not aware, and basically she was recruited to be a part of the Thunderbolt by Contessa. So this is going to be very important, because there's going to be characters within the Thunderbolt who may derive from their role. So they may think they're doing good, but in the end, they're actually going to be more of a villain. So the Thunderbolts, once again, is a Suicide Squad, if you will, to the MCU. It's going to be this bunch of characters that think they're doing well, but actually they're doing more harm than good. So maybe it's like the opposite of a Suicide Squad. Anyways, so they're the opposite, because they think they're doing good, but in reality, what they're pursuing, what they're achieving, is actually bad for the rest of the world. Anyways, that all being said, we haven't seen it in the first 2 episodes, which I was kind of bummed, but I was like, you know what, with the pace and the way they're showing everybody else, this is great. We don't need that right now. Maybe in the 3rd, 4th episode, we will have more of a mention of her, or maybe even season 2 if there's a season 2 confirmed. But I think the way how everything is set up at the moment, I'm pretty sure we will see her along, down the road. So you just need to be a little patient. All right, so let's get into the minor villains. In this case, it would be the tracksuit mafia. The ones that were saying, bro, with the tracksuit, obviously. There is actually the tracksuit Draculas that is within the Marvel comic books. So, I mean, that is a direct nod to them. And they're actually going to be very important, like, down the line. So for now, they seem very, mediocre, kind of your, 3rd class, criminals and whatever. However, I said a lot of whoever's. Anyways, so then what's going to happen is basically in the comic books, Barton used to rent an apartment. It was actually ran by Ivan, who was the mafia boss within New York. Now, in this situation, it's kind of similar in the sense that Barton is not renting from anybody. Maybe the aunt may be renting from Ivan. We don't know. Maybe that's how she also knows who was in and out, right away, like where to find Kate Bishop. Anyways, that all being said, what we do know is that Hawkeye is going to meddle so much with their plans, just like in the comic books, that they're going to get fed up and be like, look, we need to take him out. So they will hire, well, in this case in the comics, it was the Clown. Will we see the Clown in this series? I think we will. It's going to be another pretty big, not big villain, but another important villain for the Hawkeye series. And the Clown isn't the Joker, so if that's what you're thinking, he's not going to be, Batman versus the Joker kind of thing. No, not in any way. Although, the Clown, there's going to be some similarities, and especially if it's vigilante. You know where I'm getting at. Anyways, that all being said, I'm not going to get into details about the Clown, just because, I think I've given you guys a lot for this episode, so we're getting into more of the Easter egg stuff. But yeah, so those are the villains that are set to be in this series, and I mean, a lot of it is with a pinch of speculations for sure, but I mean, it's pretty, crystal clear, and I think that's where we're going within the Hawkeye series, especially initiating Kate Bishop to be the next Hawkeye. Now, there's an importance to the watch that we see. So when they had the auction, obviously you had, like I said, the blade, the suit, and there was also the watch that people were like, oh, we need to find that watch. Why would the tracksuit mafia actually look for that watch? What's the importance to it? Well, it's not just anybody's watch. To my, I would think because of the value that it was going for, especially because it was one of the Avengers that owned it, I would say it actually belonged to Tony Stark, and I don't think they want to actually just sell it. I think it's actually the watch or maybe a bracelet that, that shield thing that he does in order to stop the bullet when the Winter Soldier actually shoots him in the face. I think that's actually the technology that's within that watch, and if they're able to unlock that, they may be able to advance their own, technology and weaponry and, their game on the streets. So I think that's the importance of that watch. I don't know if we're going to see it later down. I think we will, because there was kind of a big focus on that. And then besides all that, I mean, obviously we have the Christmas, homage and Christmas vibe and all the puns that are within, like, oh, his heart 3 times bigger. Oh, you're going to still, I don't want you to steal my Christmas. Or also when he's talking, she is talking, when Kate Bishop is talking to her mother, and the mother is like, oh, don't worry, we'll take it one step in front of the other. That's actually an homage to another Christmas classic, which I'll put up here for you guys. So, I mean, it's definitely, very timely in the sense that, we are now in that period, especially, I don't know when you're watching this episode, but we're getting into that mood, and especially that's going to bring us to our last piece, which is our studio. So our studio is actually going to be very, Christmassy and holiday friendly for the month of December until we reach our, basically the holidays or the end of the holidays. And we have some crazy and special treats for you guys. So there's a contest, as I mentioned, which is on the Dan Mendoza interview. If you guys go back and check that out, there's still time to enter. As we've mentioned, it's until the 15th of December. You need to comment and just be a subscriber, basically, and you're entered to win an exclusive comic book, which is also signed by Dan Mendoza, and it'll be shipped to you. So, yeah. Also, obviously, there's going to be a draw, and we'll make sure that everybody gets a fair chance within the randomizer, I guess, or we'll do it in a hat. Anyways, we'll figure that out as we go further along, but you definitely want to enter. And yeah, why not? A free comic book on your end, something that's going to be definitely collectible and of high value, later down the line. And especially, we get to support the artist, so why not? Especially from his Kickstarter. That all being said, guys, yeah, this series was just insane. This is my, little moment, if you will, of, the review. Kate Bishop, I mean, the intro where we see how she got raised and from a little girl to where she is, I thought it was clever. It definitely got a lot of stuff out of the way. We're going to understand and learn more of her as we progress, which I think is, at a great pace for an introductory episodes. So yeah, very excited to see what else they have for us. And yeah, what did you guys like about those 2 episodes? Put it down in the comments below. Was there anything that maybe I missed or you would like for me to touch on or to, clarify in our next episode? I'd be more than happy to do that for you guys. And one last thing before we go, please be sure to hit that like button if you've enjoyed this episode or if you've learned anything. And hopefully this actually helps you better digest the episodes coming forward. And yeah, please be sure to subscribe. This is the kind of information that we kind of put into these episodes to help you better understand and enjoy what you're, the experience via the Disney Plus series. Anyways, guys, I've said a mouthful. Hopefully you guys are able to digest all this, and hopefully that's where we go with the Hawkeye series. I think I've said enough. Take it easy, guys. Peace.